got a question for you. Got a question. I want you to put down whatever you're holding on to. I want you to clear your mind of any distractions. I want your attention because I've got a question for you. Are you ready for D23, the most electrifying event in entertainment surrounding the world, as the House of the Mouse demands your attention to turn all eyes on Anaheim, California, where for 3 days, not one, not two, but 3 days, they will drop bomb after bomb after bomb. Oh, wait, we will announce absolutely nothing. Cause screw you! Yeah, welcome to D23, everybody. Welcome to D23. My name is John Campea. I am here at in Anaheim, California. Yes, Anaheim, California. Hanging out in my hotel room. I was not at the panel at over there at D23. I was not in the presentation. And I don't need to go over again why I was not in there. If any of you were wondering why I was not there, go check out the video I put up earlier today on there. And hello to all of you guys who are joining me here at this special John Campea After Dark. It's not really after dark because it's only like 5 p.m. here in California. You can see there's still a little bit of light coming in out there. But whatever, somewhere in the world, it's dark. And where it's dark, John Campea will be. So yes, it's John Campea After Dark here in Anaheim, and we're going to talk a little bit about D23. And I am not going to go over the fact that I was not there in the panel. Okay, let me just say that again. I'm not going to. I know there's some people coming here expecting me to go on some major hardcore rant, but I'm not going to do that right now. Again, if you want to know why I wasn't at the presentation, the video is up there. You can go check it out. But I just want to talk about a little bit about the panel itself, and then I'm just going to spend the rest of the time taking your guys' thoughts and questions. I'm going to leave the super chats open just for another minute or so because you guys have already filled them up there, and I want to make sure I'm able to get to all of them. But I got to say about D23, you know, there was some dude on the internet, there's some guy on YouTube, some schlub that looks an awful lot like me, and maybe has my name, who had been telling people, believing that we were going to get at D23 bomb after bomb after. I didn't know what bombs those would be. Like, I never let my speculation become expectation. You know, a lot of you guys like who were there at the last John Campea After Dark asking me, what do you want them to announce? What do you want them to announce? And I'm like, hey, I don't have anything I want them to announce. I'm just there to take what they're giving us. I'm just excited to see and take whatever it is they're giving us. So I have no expectations other than the expectation that, like previous D23s, we were going to get some big news. This is Disney's marquee event. This is their WrestleMania. This is their Stanley Cup final. This is their Super Bowl. This is their Academy Awards and their Razzies rolled into one. And, you know, so, and when you look back to the last D23, some people ask me if Rob's joining me here today. No, Rob got out of Dodge. Rob wasted his time driving out here to Anaheim when it turns out he didn't need to be here at all, and he got the hell out of Dodge. He had to go back. He had to go back to home there, and so he's not here today. So it's just me. And when you look back to the last D23, it was an incredible event, like an absolutely incredible event, where not only did, you know, they hype up the audience and thrill everybody and all that kind of stuff, but they used the platform of D23 to let the world know about things the world didn't know before. You know, they would come out on stage and, like, in my poorest Vince McMahon voice and impersonation, you know, they come out, last D23, Ewan McGregor returns as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Boom, and the world explodes. Hey guys, we got a new show coming for you, a little thing called Moon Knight. Boom, the world explodes. Hey guys, you never thought it was going to happen, but guess what? It's coming to Disney Plus. We've got She-Hulk is coming. Boom, minds explode. Hey guys, you know it's not just about the old classic superheroes. We got more recent comic book characters. Miss Marvel is coming to the screen. Boom, miles explode. I mean, between Star Wars and Marvel, I mean, they just had this litany of huge announcements. They set the precedent. They set the precedent. And not that we go into these things expecting them to make, here's the full MCU lineup between now and 2035. No, nobody was expecting that. And you know, we go into Comic-Con, and I told everybody before Comic-Con, manage expectations, because I don't expect them to drop a lot. Just expect to hear a bunch of details about projects we already know about, because they're going to hold off everything for the showstopper, for the main event, for prime time, D23. That's where they're going to hold other stuff from. And sure enough, Comic-Con comes and goes, and it was exactly what we all said it was going to be. It was going to be more details about projects we already knew about. A couple of trailers, a couple of release dates, nothing major. You know, drop a couple things here and there. But it was what it was. But we expected that because we expected the D23 was going to be the event where they would drop bomb after bomb. Now, there were certain things we certainly suspected they were going to do. I think we were all on board that we really thought they were going to drop the Fantastic Four announcements, cast announcements at any rate. Really expected that Ryan Reynolds was going to come out on stage and you know, just make it official. Deadpool 3 is coming. Just give a little, hey, we're working really hard on getting it ready so we can have it go into production at some point or whatever. But the thing I was most excited about was the stuff we had no idea about. Because last E23, the most exciting things were the things we were not expecting. The things we really didn't know, the things that came out of left field and smacked us on our proverbial asses and gave us the giggles. And so coming into this D23, coming out of the pandemic, coming out of the theaters been closed for a while. I mean, we're up and running again, but still, this is the first D23 coming out of all that. And with all these big holes that were still present there, coming out of Comic-Con, and them telling the world, all eyes on us, all eyes on us. You're a Disney fan somewhere around the world, you gotta fly into Anaheim, because this is D23, baby. We're gonna give the goods. And the goods were not given. The goods were not given. Now, what's really disappointing to me was that, especially at the Marvel show, at the Marvel presentation, not a single project that we didn't know about was announced. Not a single project. And again, I refer you back to precedent. The last D23 itself was boom, 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 boom. Not one. We knew about Werewolf by Night, and I'm glad they dropped a teaser, but I mean, you could have just dropped that on YouTube at any time. I mean, you want to leverage and utilize something like D23 to make announcements to the world and have the parties involved there come on stage as you make these announcements to the world. Again, I go back to last time when Ewan McGregor came out on stage and said, Kathy, ask me if I'm going to be Obi-Wan again. Ewan, are you going to be Obi-Wan again? Yes. I mean, just like that kind of stuff creates memories. They create pivotal moments in fandom. And you had that opportunity here. And what did you do? Well, Star Wars was a write-off. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you this mid-level animation show, Bad Batch, for season 2. Everybody applaud. Now, I don't mean any disrespect for anybody who's a fan of Bad Batch. I didn't like Bad Batch. It's just me. And if you did, that's great. But I have not heard one person in the world tell me that Bad Batch is their favorite animated show. So I think it's fair to say it's a middling animated show. It's a secondary animated show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome as we announce to you this other cartoon show just filled with characters we've already used 1,000 times before. Yay! And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's going to be some pretty cool things. And that, what's it called again? Tales of the Jedi? I'm sure there's going to be some pretty cool things in there. I'm sure there are. But, you know, in the last couple of weeks, the major news trades have announced casting for the Acolyte. You announced the Acolyte over 2 years ago. And news media outlets are breaking stories about casting going on this past week. You couldn't even take a second to give us something about Acolyte that you announced over 2 years ago. Not a thing? Really? Nothing? Nothing. All right. Okay. Everybody in the Star Wars fandom is wondering what is going on with the movie slate. Now, if you don't have a slate to announce right now, perfectly fine. But give the fans an update. You know, listen, this is D23. You've asked the fans around the world to turn your eyes on us. All eyes on us this weekend. So we're there, we're watching, and you know the Star Wars fans are wondering, what is going on with the movie slate? Give us a little update. You don't have to tell us we're proud to announce in 2024 we have this, and in 2025 we have this, and in 2026 we have this. We're not expecting that, but at least take a second and address the elephant in the room. Address the wampa in the room and just say, hey, we want to give you a little bit of an update about Star Wars on the big screen. We are currently working very hard with screenwriters, Taika Waititi and blah, blah, developing this. We're not ready right now to give a date. But we just want you to know that Star Wars was born on the big screen and it will live on the big screen. Just give us something. Something. Now, they did drop a Mandalorian trailer, which is great. But again, we know Mandalorian Season 3 is coming. Like, we know that. We know who the cast is. We know all of that. And they literally just could have just dropped it on YouTube and it would have got a bit. There was nothing announced. And then Marvel. Nothing on Blade? Really? Again, it's been years. Nothing on Deadpool? Again, we're not looking for hardcore, all the details. It's going to come out on this day. Here's the full cast. Here's our screenwriters. Here's every little detail about them. No. We're not asking for that. But I mean, we have been waiting a long time for some information on Deadpool. You couldn't have Reynolds walk out on stage for everything. Just say, guys, we are so excited. We're officially announcing Deadpool is coming. Now, we don't have a date yet, but we're working really hard on our scripts right now. We really feel like we know our story and we're getting there. And just talk about it for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Now, they showed some new footage of Black Panther, and I am totally okay that they did not put it out on the net. I am totally good that the people who were there in the presentation, I wasn't one of them, but I'm totally good that the people who were there in the presentation get something special for them, that they were there, they were in the room, and they got a little something special that was just for them. I'm totally good with that. Totally good with that. Apparently what they played for Black Panther was pretty good, but again, we know Black Panther's actually Black Panther's going to be in movie theaters here shortly. So we knew it was coming. There's no big surprises there. They dropped Indiana Jones 5 footage. Good. And again, okay that they just saved that as something special for the audience who was there live. I got no problem with that. But again, we all know Indy 5 is coming. It's been deleted. It's been delayed like 18 times. But we know it was coming. It was a big nothing burger. It was highlighting some stuff we already knew. I will tell you what the biggest news, especially coming out of Marvel, was. The biggest news coming out of Marvel was Sebastian Stan is going to be joining Thunderbolts. So we're going to get Winter Soldier and Thunderbolts. And David Harbour, who was my favorite part of Black Widow. I mean, he's the only part of Black Widow I really loved, because that movie is fairly underwhelming. But David Harbour was fantastic in that. I loved him in that. And the fact that he is joining Thunderbolts, to me, that was the biggest news, the biggest actual news that came out of the Marvel panel. And even though I really like those two additions to Thunderbolts, let's be honest, those are secondary news items, right? Here's a couple of characters who are joining this ensemble cast for not our top movie coming out. But again, it was good. Another little piece of news that I would also qualify as secondary news, but Tim Blake Nelson, a lot of us have been speculating that Tim Blake Nelson was going to come in since Abomination was back. Why not Tim Blake Nelson? And it looks like he's coming back to be the leader in the Captain America movie. I think that's cool. I think that's cool. But again, it's a secondary piece of news, right? So again, it's just, I am not comparing D23 this year to my expectations, because my expectations were honestly, they didn't exist. I just want to see what they were going to give us. I'm comparing D23 to other D23s. And this year's D23 compared to other D23s, let's call it was as flat as a old tire. It was flat, man. And it's unfortunate that we've been so psyched. Again, like, okay, we all expected that we were going to announce the Fantastic Four cast, and they didn't. Okay, they didn't do that, but we still expected something. It didn't have to be the things we were, that we were focused on. It didn't have to be the things that we really suspected were going to come. It didn't have to be those things, but it was just nothing. It wasn't worthy of your Super Bowl. It wasn't worthy of the prime time main event showstopper, all eyes on me. It wasn't worthy of that. It was it was a fart in the wind. It came, it happened. Most people aren't going to be talking about it tomorrow. I will be talking about it on Monday on the John Campea Show. Make sure you join us for that. But yeah, it was a fart in the wind. And I have a feeling, I didn't get into the presentation. I actually have a feeling I'd be more salty about it if I was in the presentation. I'd probably be, this is what I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's kind of my take on this. Again, a couple of cool things. I don't want to underplay the fact that there were a couple of cool things. Sebastian Stan, David Harbour, Tim Blake Nelson. They dropped a couple of cool pieces of footage. We got our first look at Secret Invasion. But again, just a couple of things they could have just dropped on YouTube and would have got a lot of attention, just dropping it on YouTube. It was nothing announced that we didn't know about. There was nothing new, literally nothing new. And when you compare that to the D23s, I find that very disappointing. I find it disappointing. But at any rate, let's go over now and hear from you guys and what you have to say about a bunch of stuff. I'm going to top up my drink here because this is after dark. Of course, I don't drink alcohol, but my drink today is Diet Pepsi because I don't have any Zevia here. There we go. That's the good stuff. So yeah, let's sit back, relax, spend some time together. And listen, by the way, I really do want to hear from you if you thought it was really great. I mean, you're only hearing me say this. This is just my one person's perspective, all right? Just my one person's perspective. I'm sure there are people out there who are really excited about a number of the things that we saw, and that's awesome. So let's get into it and let's talk about stuff, shall we? Okay. We're going to get things started off here. By the way, I'm sorry that the type, if you're looking at this on your phone, maybe you can read it better. I'm sorry that the type is so small, but there's something wrong with Stream Elements right now where I'm not able to get the actual proper list. So we're just going to use this for now. Cinema Reviews writes, over under 10%, the Armor Wars series ends with Rhodey taking up the mantle of Iron Man. Phase 4 has had a lot of stuff about inheriting or growing into mantles. I'll go under 10%. Rhodey just can't create the armor. Rhodey is not Iron Man. And if anybody is kind of taking up the mantle of Iron Man, it seems like that's going to be Ironheart. I think they're clearly kind of moving that mantle, if you will, over to Ironheart. So I don't think it'll be Rhodey, but you never know, Cinema. All right, Jay Bling writes, since scoops about Marvel's announcements turned out to be BS, how many scoops about Marvel movies themselves, i.e. casting, can we believe now, LOL? Well, listen, we're always telling you guys, like the one thing that I believe, Jodie Comer is going to be Sue Storm. Now, I I worked very, very hard on the show that I said that to let you guys know, don't take that to the bank. I can't guarantee it. I wouldn't put $1,000 on that, but it is what I believe based on what I've heard. And I still believe that's going to be the case. But they made the decision not to make any of those announcements today. There were some of the really widely held beliefs that I never understood why people believed it, like the Henry Cavill was going to be announced as Hyperion or stuff like that. I never understood that. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's possible, but I never understood why there was some kind of wide belief about that. I never heard from one credible person that actually had real knowledge that that was a possibility. But that was something that went around a lot. So is what it is. But I'm always telling people, when you hear these announcements, when you see these reports, follow the source. Where is it actually coming from? Because 9 times out of 10, it's coming from Gus's movie reviews.fart. It's not coming from Variety or The Wrap or The Hollywood Reporter or whatever. It's usually coming from a Gus's movie reviews.fart. And I keep telling people, just that doesn't automatically mean that it's not true. It doesn't automatically mean it's not true, but it means you should file it away and pay more attention to it later when more corroborating information and evidence comes out about it. But we as movie fans, we take things very seriously very quickly. And I think we're all guilty of that. By the way, I'm sorry if the camera shakes here. I've got it on a little janky table here in my hotel room. All right. Let's see. Daniel Vakura writes, Thunderbolts has 3 men with the same power set with Bucky, Alexei, and Walker. That's dumb. At least diversify the lineup and have Baron Zemo on the team. Really? And no Zemo on the team? Really? Well, here's the thing, Daniel. The A-team was 4 men with all the same powers. None. Right? None. They all had the same powers, and those powers were none. If you are somebody who watches Cobra Kai, I am not, but it is a show filled with people who have the same superpowers. None. 0 superpowers. They all have the same superpowers. These are 3 characters that may have the same baseline powers, but they are 3 very different characters. Alexei and Walker and Winter Soldier are 3 very different characters. Yeah, they have the same power set, but the power sets don't make characters interesting. Character makes characters interesting. So, yeah, I have no problem with that myself. I actually think that's pretty interesting. But, you know, we'll see if they use it well or not, Daniel. We'll see if they use it well or not. All right, City of Swift writes, John, did the final email from Disney read, Mr. Chapek sends his regards with attached pictures of you at the lines, with you at the lines. No, listen, I choose to believe that Disney did not screw me over because I have been critical of Bobby Chapek. I choose to believe they are not that petty. I just really think they goofed. I really just think it's a matter of incompetence, not a matter of malintent. You know what I mean? But who knows? Maybe Bobby Chapek put out the hit on me. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Let's be honest here. I am neither big enough or important enough for Bob Chapek to give 2 squirts of urine about what John Campea is doing, okay? Let's not pretend that I'm that important. I am not. I don't think Bobby Chapek even has ever heard my name. So I doubt it. It's funny because I've had a lot of people write to me saying they were convinced that Bob Chapek probably ordered that I not be let in because I've been critical of Bob Chapek. Number one, I don't think Disney is that shallow. And number 2, Bob Chapek's never even heard of me. He doesn't give a fuck about me. Anyway, all right, let's. Where are we at here now? We're at Daniel again, who writes, by far, my favorite news was seeing that Ki-Hugh Kwan is in Loki Season 2, Tim Blake Nelson as leader. Cap 4 feels random, and I expected him to be in She-Hulk. I mean, yeah, you could have put him in She-Hulk, but that's just because he had a connection to her cousin, but she's a different character. Listen, there's nothing saying he doesn't show up in She-Hulk. Just because he's been announced for Captain America 4, that doesn't mean that we couldn't get Tim Blake Nelson in episode 5, 6, or 7 of She-Hulk, right? But yeah, that was announcing here about the dude showing up, especially after watching him lately. Seeing him pop up in Loki Season 2, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that as well. All right. Sam Fisher writes, I do think that Marvel announcing Leader in Captain America 4 ups the likelihood that we will see him in She-Hulk, and I hope Thunderbolts redeems Taskmaster. I don't know how though. Yeah, Taskmaster was such a badly used villain in Black Widow. Such a badly used villain in Black Widow. The two villains, Taskmaster and the Big Baddie, they really brought the movie down. They were badly used, badly written, badly brought down. So here's hoping they're able to do something with Taskmaster. All right, Mike A writes, Ross Flinch for Johnny Storm. He was fantastic in that Jeffrey Dahmer movie. He can be very vulnerable on camera. Or Rudy Pankow from Outer Banks. Here's the thing, Mike. I don't really normally care about X actor and X role. All I care about is, do you get a good, talented actor? That's all I care about. I literally think there's 30 or 40 really solid names that could be Johnny Storm. A good 30 or 40. And then maybe another 20, 30, or 40 on top of that that would be kind of sleepers for it. I don't believe there's one person to play Johnny Storm. I think it's just a matter of, and as long as whoever they announce is a good, solid actor, I'll be okay with it. All right. Daniel writes in again. I was underwhelmed by the announcements at D23. Trailers saying shows will be out in 2023 with no real date wasn't great. Hearing The Marvels is an action comedy frustrates me. That's most MCU projects. Well, yeah. But most MCU projects do them really well. I mean, Thor 4 went a little bit too far. I still enjoyed Thor 4. I don't care what anybody says. I still think Thor 4 is an enjoyable film. But it took that balance and threw it out of balance. Right, a lot of Marvel, not all Marvel, but a lot of Marvel movies have had that really good balance of like really interesting storytelling balanced with really light, with good light, fun entertainment. And that's why they've made billions and billions and billions of dollars. So I have no problem hearing that The Marvels is going to be along the lines of an action comedy. It would be out of sorts, especially with Kamala Khan being in there. It would be out of sorts if it wasn't. Like, not everything should be the Batman, right? So I think, I'm not surprised to hear that this is what they're doing with the Marvels. And quite frankly, I think that's the right approach for this. It's what's going to work. As long as they don't do with what, say, Thor, Love and Thunder did, which was throw that balance too far to the silly. As long as they don't do that, and they see what happened with Thor, Love and Thunder, and they reel it in a bit, I think it'll be perfectly okay. I think it'll be perfectly fine. At least I hope so. All right, thanks for that, Daniel. Sam Fisher writes, I love that Werewolf by Night looks and feels like a 1930s pulp horror movie, and I'm sure Laura Donnelly is playing Elsa Bloodstone. Maybe. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard that and hadn't thought about that. That's not bad. I'm iffy on the Werewolf by Night thing, to be honest with you, because it almost looked like satire. And I know it's not satire, but it almost felt a little bit like satire. But the one really positive thing I'll say about Werewolf by Night is that it is Marvel trying to do something that they have never done before, right? Like, because that Werewolf by Night trailer looks like nothing else Marvel's ever done before. And they've been trying to do that a lot lately. And on that level alone, I am at least really intrigued. And of course, you got Michael Giacchino directing it, so that's also pretty interesting. All right. Yellow CT writes, I got up at 3 a.m. to get on the standby line where we were so close to actually getting in, only to get usurped by latecomers who didn't even get their credentials checked. So close, yet so far. Dude, that's awful. The idea that you were in line at 3 a.m. and still didn't get in. They have got to do better. They have simply got to do better. They should have made it public, like for people just getting in, because they made a system where you could reserve a spot in there, right? They should have made it public what percentage of seats were actually still available. Because if there was only like 15% of the seats still available, then maybe a lot of people like yourself wouldn't have gotten in line at 3 a.m. in the morning, knowing that the chances were probably pretty small that you would have got in. But anyway, they need to come up with a better system. Sorry you had that experience, Yellow TC. That sucks. Or CT. Sam Fisher writes, it felt like the perfect time to announce the Fantastic Forecast. It was the perfect time to announce the Fantastic Forecast. The reason I can think to not is that the Fantastic Four cast are part of the Black Panther or Ant-Man end credit scenes, and they want the cast to be a surprise. Well, no, I don't buy that, Sam. The reason I don't buy that is because in today's world, there's no way they're going to be able to keep that secret. There's just no way. So I don't believe that. The only thing I can think of is maybe they wanted to announce the entire Fantastic Four cast all at once, and maybe one of the cast members doesn't have their deal finalized yet. I'm not breaking this as news. I'm speculating here. Let's be clear. But it is possible that they know who their Fantastic Four cast is going to be, and they're working on negotiating the terms of the deals, and maybe there's like one of the people that doesn't have their deal finalized yet. And they're shy about bringing them out on stage, only to then maybe in 3 weeks announce, oh, they're not the Thing anymore, or they're not Sue Storm anymore, or they're not Johnny Storm anymore. It's like, well, wait, you just brought them out on stage at D23. So I don't think that's what it is. But that is a possibility about one of the reasons, because you're right, this was the perfect time to bring them out. All right, D-Train writes, for every future convention you'll attend, I'd like to remind you of this line from Spider-Man No Way Home. Expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. Here's the thing, though. All right, I want you to listen to me. I don't expect incompetence. I simply don't accept or expect incompetence. I feel it is reasonable of me to rely on that the people I'm about to engage with and the organization I'm about to engage with aren't incompetent. And what happened with me with D23 is a sign of absolute incompetence. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Disney makes mistakes. Mistakes happen. But when you're the one that the mistake happens to, you're going to feel a little burned. And I'm not going to lie to you. I am feeling kind of burned. Again, I'm not going to go into the whole thing again. I put up a video about it earlier this morning. You can go and check that out. So, yeah. Anyway. There's that. Okay, let's get back over to it here, shall we? Next up, that was D-Train. Thanks, D-Train. Milo Murphy writes, when you meet Weird Al, I'm going to meet Weird Al on Tuesday. I'm very, very excited about that. You should ask him about Milo Murphy's Law. Al voices Milo. It's an amazing show, and I'm still waiting for the 3rd season. I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of it. I'm not kidding. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. So for those of you who don't know, I am actually going to meet Weird Al. Finally, I'm going to go meet Weird Al on Tuesday. I'm very, very excited about that. He's the one celebrity I've never had the guts to go up to and talk to when I've been in the same room with him like 7 times. So I'm very excited about that. All right, thanks, Milo. Disney Milk Machine writes, Campea D23, Harloff, and Galaxy's Edge. You know what? Let me bring this up again. I still see people giving Harloff a hard time about that Galaxy's Edge thing. I want to remind everybody of something. There is still this fake narrative out there that Christian got all mad and blew up and got on this big rage thing on camera because he didn't get invited to, to Star Wars Land or something. And I want to remind everybody, that's not true. That's not what happened. What happened on that infamous video was that Christian talked about, if you go back and watch the video, Christian talked about it, and, he didn't get invited to Star Wars Land, which is still the craziest thing. Like, how do you, the guy who was one of the hosts of Jedi Council and is one of the major Star Wars guys online, how you don't invite him to that, I don't know. But he didn't get invited to that, and he talked about that, and he said, he straight up said, he goes, you know what, I'm butthurt. I mean, he comes right out and says, I'm butthurt about it. Of course I'm butthurt about it. I don't know why I didn't invite, but he did not blow up. He did not get enraged and stuff like that. But he kind of said, we're not going to cover the D23 thing. He didn't get upset until a producer of the show that he was doing at the time totally got out of line. totally got out of line and started to argue with Christian while they were on the air, which was one of the most idiotic things and disrespectful things I've seen in YouTube live streaming. But it was when that producer decided to, instead of waiting till the show was over and then, going aside and having a conversation, with Christian about, and you say, hey, maybe let's talk about this. Well, instead of doing that, they decided to stick their nose into somewhere it didn't belong. And while on air and while the show was happening, decided to start an argument with Christian on air. And that's when Christian blew up. Christian didn't just come on, like a lot of people tell the story as if Christian just did a video about how they didn't invite him to Star Wars Land and he freaked out. And because he's so entitled and stuff like that. But that's not what happened. I mean, that's a more fun story, but it's not what happened. So anyway, I just think that Christian doesn't need me defending him. When you go back and look at it, what actually happened was a little bit different. Anyway, thanks for writing that in, Disney Milk. Okay, Gnome writes, the Marvel and Star Wars panels are just Comic-Con 2.0 panels. No new projects or news about the cast of Fantastic Four and nothing about future Star Wars films. Meh. Dude, I completely agree. And again, this isn't comparing it to expectations. This is comparing it to what they set as the precedent. And it was a big nothing burger, other than a couple of secondary stories, which were pretty cool. Like the David Harbour thing, I think is very, very cool. But, it is what it is, Gnome. All right, next up, Russell Amador writes, speculation turned to expectations equals D23 letdown. But it wasn't about expectations. Like, here's the thing. The only thing that we as fans expected was for them to do what they say they'll do. And they tell us what they're going to do by the precedent they set with previous events. They've been trying for years to make D23 to be the main center of everything that is the Disney universe. And they tell the people, come into this thing, all eyes on us, blah, 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 blah. And for them, and then at the last D23, and now this D23, which I would really propose was vitally important. Again, this is the first D23 post-pandemic. The movie theaters and the entertainment has really been hurting. The fans haven't been together like this. This was your moment. This was your moment. And boy, did they whiff. This is not about fans had too high expectations. They didn't announce anything. They didn't announce anything. No like at the last D23, 5, 6, 7 projects we'd never heard about. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, this is coming. Blah, right? This one, not a single one. That's not the fault of the fans having expectations. The only expectations that fans had was, you're going to announce something? Anything? Nothing. And anyway, yeah, there's that. All right, thanks for that, Russell. Aiden Foley writes, such a lame D23 where nothing happened. No big game announcements, no big Marvel or Star Wars news either. As a lover of Disney, I am disappointed. And I think that's the big word. I think the word is disappointed. Now look, I've seen some people online. Let me be very, very clear here. I've seen some people online talking like, whoa, this is the downfall of Disney. No, guys, this is a big hype event. It's an event. This wasn't one of their movies. This wasn't one of their TV shows. It's a hype event. An important one, yes. A big one, yes. But it's a hype event. Did they drop the ball on this? It depends who you ask. But if you ask me, yeah, they dropped the ball on it. But this is just because they dropped the ball on it badly, it doesn't mean that, oh, this means Marvel is falling apart now. No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, and there are some people out there right now trying to equate with the fact that they dropped the ball at D23 as mean this means Star Wars is doomed and Marvel is doomed. Guys, this was a hype event. They should have done better. They should have done a hell of a lot more. But it was what it was. It was a hype event. So I just, like, let's not blow it out of proportion. Like, did they drop the ball? Yes, and I'm going to keep saying that they did. But let's not blow it out of proportion to think that this means doom and everything for everything else that Marvel is doing or everything else that Fox is doing or that Lucasfilm is doing or anything like that, because it's not. It's not. All right. Where are we at here? Aiden Foley also writes, what did you think of the Glass Onion trailer, John? I liked it. Especially for a first trailer. It gives a little taste of the characters we have involved. Again, first trailers, I don't expect you to give us a lot of much. Just give us a little feel for what it's going to kind of feel like. And I thought the Glass Onion trailer was really good. All right. Deadpool's Unicorn writes, Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie. Mine too. But my one nitpick is always how they wrote Pa Kent's character. He's supposed to be the moral compass for Superman, but in the movie he's like, maybe let those kids die. Yeah. No, that is absolutely the right thing Pa Kent should say. Because remember, Pa Kent, in that scene, there's two important things you got to keep in mind. While Pa Kent is a very moral-centered guy, he is the moral North Star for Superman, is Pa Kent. While that is all true, Clark is still his son. Clark is still his son. And any parent is going to say the well-being of my son comes first. Okay, so there's that. And Superman outing himself, Clark outing himself that way was very, very dangerous for Clark. And for a parent who that child is their number one priority, that is absolutely something Pa Kent would say. But the second thing is this, you have to understand why Pa Kent said that. The reason Pa Kent said that, and remember, he struggled with it. He didn't say, absolutely, Clark, you should have let those kids die. Even he struggled with it. He said, maybe. Because you got to understand, Pa Kent completely believed that whatever happened with Clark was going to determine the destiny of the human race. He talks about that in the movie. And he talks about, it's not just about Clark being ready for the world to find out who he is. It's about, is the world ready to find out who Clark is? Because who he is and what he becomes is going to shape the destiny of the world. And so to Pa Kent, who his child is his number one responsibility, but also to Pa Kent, who thinks if you get revealed right now, it could be disastrous for all the human race. Then when you pose the question to him, when his own son poses the question to him, what was I supposed to do, let him die? Yeah. Pa Kent, understanding his focus, his answer would be the hardest thing to say, but the most honest thing to say was, maybe. And that's why I think Superman, Man of Steel, is the most underrated comic book film of all time. Because they are willing to go into that nuance. And I think that is part... See, I get it. You feel that moment is a weakness in the film. To me, that is one of the reasons it's one of the most underrated comic book movies of all time. Because it's that kind of brilliance. But that's just my take on it. Thank you for sharing yours. I appreciate that, man. All right. Thanks, Deadpool's Unicorn. Aiden Foley writes, I might have forgiven the Marvel panel a little bit if Kevin Feige talked about Dove Soap sponsorship and Superman hats. You know, Kevin likes his hats. Of course, that's for those of you going, what? That's Aiden giving a little bit of a dig to the last DC Fandome. Oh, what a mess that was. Yeah, so that's Aiden giving just a little bit of a jab in there to DC Fandome there. All right. Deadpool's Unicorn writes, having so much fun with She-Hulk, it's my kind of dumb. The first since WandaVision that I look forward to each new episode, so sue me. Pun intended. That was a good pun. Sue me, legal comedy, I like it. Yeah, listen, I have been enjoying She-Hulk, but I will say, not a big fan of the latest episode. Even though by the end credit scene, when, what's the girl's name, Madison? With two N's and a Y, but the Y's not where you think it is. By the end credit scene with Madison and Wong watching This Is Us on TV, even though she kind of annoyed me in the show, I was kind of ready to see a Madison and Wong show. I was kind of ready to see that. But overall, this was the first She-Hulk episode that to me was like, I didn't like it. Didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It has its moments. I have at least liked all the episodes so far. until this one. This one was the one I didn't like. So, but I still look forward to watching the show every week. I kind of like what it is. It's a very light show using the MCU for its comedy. I dig it. I'm very looking forward to seeing Daredevil show up as well. All right. Thanks for that, Deadpool. Quality not included writes. Not sure what's more surprising, no Fantastic Forecast or no Deadpool 3 confirmation. Here's the thing. The more surprising to me is the no Deadpool 3 confirmation, because that was the easiest thing for them to do at D23. Just march Reynolds out on stage, say, hey guys, just so you know, Deadpool is coming to the MCU. We are working really hard on this. You know, for people who were afraid that, oh, we were going to lighten it up because of Marvel, going to let you know right now, Disney has told us the gloves are off. You do whatever you're going to do. You make it as hard R as you want and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it would have been super easy. With the Fantastic Four thing, like I said, there might be an excuse as to like maybe one of the contracts isn't signed yet or all that kind of stuff. There might be something there for that. But with Deadpool, it would have been simple. Like super easy, barely an inconvenience. There's my little shout out to Pitch Meeting there. Done by a good Canadian kid, by the way. I'm more surprised by that, to be honest with you. I'm more surprised by that. All right. Let's see. Darren Best Wadley writes, since we're getting a Captain America movie, does that mean that there's no Falcon and Winter Soldier Season 2? I'm surprised Bucky isn't going to be in it. Well, I mean, I would have also been a little bit surprised. By the way, Hartford in the live chat there, for those of you guys who are watching live, you can see it. Hartford in the live chat just threw in like a $50 super chat badge just to be supportive. Hartford, thank you so much, man. That's, you know what? One of the reasons, I'm going to be honest with you. Can I be honest with you? Can I open up my Canadian icy heart to you guys for a second? One of the reasons I decided to do the live stream today, why I decided to do this John Campea After Dark today, was because the day has put me in a pretty bad mood. I'm not going to lie. And just getting on and talking to you guys makes me feel better. So it was a little bit of a cathartic experience, if you will, that I was going after to do this. But anyway, so Hartford, thank you just being there and throwing in support for no reason other than just to throw in support. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that very much. Anyway, getting back to Darren Best Wadley's thing. Seeing that Bucky is going to be a part of Thunderbolts, that makes that much more understandable. And remember, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier are not Batman and Robin, right? They're not shake and bake. They were two characters that were loosely connected through their joint connection with Captain America. And they did an okay show. I didn't love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to be honest with you. It was an okay show. But I don't think that at all ever meant that they were going to be bound together. Now, if they were going to do a Captain America and the Winter Soldier season 2, I would be down for that. But I think it makes more sense that they're going to try to let Sam really take on the persona of Captain America. And then you got Bucky going on to Thunderbolts, which I thought was a really interesting move putting in there. I thought that was a good one. Okay. I got to refresh this for a second here just so I can... Yeah, let me refresh this and see if I can, because I don't have all of the super chats here. So let me just make sure I get them all. Oh, wow, there was still a lot to go. We still have a long way to go. So I'm going to try to start moving a little faster here. Okay, here we go. Jared Vester writes, I'm really sorry about what happened to you guys today. I appreciate all the hard work and money that you guys put in. Thank you so much for that, Jared. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a bummer. And it's a bummer because while I have certainly been very critical of Disney over the past couple of years, obviously I'm not a big fan of the job Bob Chapek is doing with running the company. I certainly cheer for him. I want him to do a great job, but I've not been particularly impressed with the way he does it. I feel that Phase 4 has certainly been a step down for the MCU so far, even though there have been some really good shining moments in it. They put out a number of shows that I haven't loved, like Falcon the Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, I straight up didn't like. She-Hulk so far I enjoy it, but it's okay. I have been critical a lot of Disney the last couple of years, but that doesn't change the fact that I am a big Disney fan. I'm a big Disney fan. And it hurts a little bit more. I'm just being honest with you guys, okay? I'm not trying to bitch and moan here, but I'm just trying to be honest with you. As a guy who's a real fan of Disney, and a fan of the stuff they do, even though I've been critical the last couple of years, but still, as a fan, to have this happen at a Disney thing, it makes it hurt a little bit more. If that makes any sense. It makes it sting just a little bit worse. If it had happened at, I don't know, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. If it happened at a big Dallas Cowboy event, I got screwed over by the Cowboys, I'd be like, whatever, it's the Cowboys, what do you expect? But it's a Disney thing, and I'm a big Disney fan, and so it hurts a little bit more. It hurts. When you love, you hurt. Love hurts, ladies and gentlemen. So that's, that kind of sucked. All right. Where are we at here? Leo Liang writes, I just wanted to show support and thank you for everything you do for us. Oh, thank you, Leo. I appreciate that, man. I'm having fun here tonight. You know what? You guys have turned my day around. It went from being a really crappy day to, you know what? I'm sitting here. Anne is off with a friend of ours at Disneyland. Of course, I'm never going back to Disneyland. That's from a previous experience. But Anne decided to go to Disneyland with a friend since we're here in Anaheim. So, I had some time here. Thought I'd join you guys before I watch some UFC. And I'm having a good time. So thanks for that, Leo. Jared Vester writes, D23 was a disappointment for me. Great to see them use Tim Blake Nelson again for the leader, finally, but sad to see no Abomination or Zemo for the Thunderbolts. See, here's the thing, Jared. I'm not disappointed by they didn't do this one thing I wanted them to do. Like, yeah, was I suspecting they were really going to do Fantastic Four announcement? Yeah. Did I really suspect they were going to bring out Deadpool? Yeah, but I'm not upset or disappointed that they didn't do something specific. I'm disappointed that they didn't announce anything. I didn't need them to bring out Fantastic Four to make me feel good about D23. I didn't need Ryan Reynolds to come out on stage and talk about Deadpool for me to feel good about D23. I didn't need Kevin Feige to announce a X-Men movie for me to enjoy D23. I just was looking forward to whatever they would announce and surprise us with, and there were none. And that's the part that disappointed me. All right, thanks for sharing that, Jared. Al Renshaw writes, disappointed we didn't get the Fantastic Forecast. Again, I'm very curious as to why, because this was the time to do it, Al. Suthius writes, very surprised. Oh, wait a second. I just got an email. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I just got an email from Walt Disney Studios Publicity. They're saying Lucasfilm, Marvel Studios, and 20th Century Studios showcase electrifying new slate at I'm not kidding. That's exactly the BS they're saying. They're saying this, that Walt Disney Studios Publicity, Lucasfilm, Marvel, and 20th Century Studios showcase an electrifying new slate. At what new slate? It's everything we already knew was coming. At D23 Expo. Yeah, that's bullshit. They did not, as if they're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the most electrifying. They electrified nothing. They couldn't have electrified you if they stuck your tongue in an outlet. Nothing was electrifying about that whatsoever. New slate, electrifying new slate. There was literally no new slate. What the hell are you actually talking about? There was no new slate. It was all projects very new. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I'm not going to do it. Okay. Let's see. Suthius writes, very surprised that no Quantumania teaser online yet. Yeah, no, I'm not really surprised by that. It's not like Quantumania is on the verge of coming out. They'll release stuff when they have stuff to release. I mean, they brought out, Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly and Jonathan Majors, and that's fine for that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not surprised that they haven't put anything out. We still got a ways to go for that. All right. Suthius also writes, interesting lineup for Thunderbolts. I agree. I would actually say that the lineup for the Thunderbolts, but this is bad. Like, listen, think about this. If you had been told last week that the most significant and most interesting announcements they make at D23 are the addition of David Harbour, Sebastian Stan to Thunderbolts. What would you have thought? I'll tell you what you would have thought. If you'll indulge me, I'm taking a wild guess here. If you had been told a week ago that the most important and most interesting and most significant announcements that are going to get made at Marvel's D23 panel is the addition of David Harbour and Sebastian Stan to Thunderbolts, you would have said, no, you're lying. You got to be lying. That's not going to be like the most earth-shaking news that they're going to deliver. Yeah, it is. You would have been, I'm going to tune out then. I'm not going to bother watching it. That's exactly what most of us would have thought. But you're right. And listen, again, I don't want to sound like I'm trashing on David Harbour joining the Thunderbolts. I do think that's interesting. I think he's the best thing that came out of the Black Widow movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in it. And I think the addition of Sebastian Stan as Bucky, also, good move. I like it. But that shouldn't be your biggest news. That shouldn't be your biggest and most interesting announcement. But whatever. David D is saying they did announce Thunderbolts. They didn't announce Thunderbolts because we already knew the Thunderbolts were coming. This wasn't announced. Like, if we didn't know they were making a Thunderbolts movie and then they came out saying, guys, we're doing the Thunderbolts, that would have been a big story. That would have been an announcement. But we already knew the Thunderbolts were coming, so didn't really announce anything. All right. Al Renshaw writes, are you a little surprised that Zemo and Abomination weren't a part of Thunderbolts? I was surprised and would have thought Zemo would be their leader. I'm a little surprised that Zemo's not there. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm not really surprised that Abomination isn't. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if he was a part of it. Like, if they announced Abomination, I wouldn't have been surprised by that. But I'm also not terribly surprised that he's not. And the reason I'm not terribly surprised that he's not is because Abomination to the Thunderbolts would kind of be the representation of Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. Like, yeah, you got all the Watchmen, and that's great. You know, Ozymandias is great, Rorschach is great, Night Owl's great. Yeah, that's all fine, but it's Dr. Manhattan. That's really all you need. Dr. Manhattan has more power than all the rest of them combined 5,000 times over. And the reality is that Abomination, like, let's not forget, Abomination went toe-to-toe with Hulk. Having Abomination in the Thunderbolts, I think, would kind of limit your storytelling ability. Because what force can the Thunderbolts come across that the answer isn't just, send in Blonsky. Boom! Right? I mean, so, I wouldn't have been shocked if he was in it, but I'm not honestly really shocked. So I'm more surprised that Zemo wasn't there. All right, thanks for that, Al. Jared Vesta writes, also, what was your favorite news/trailer from Marvel today? Werewolf by Night looks amazingly different. It does look very different. I'm not going to pretend that I'm excited for it because I don't know that it looked great, but it looked really different, and that could be good. So that was interesting. The favorite announcement is David Harbour. David Harbour coming back into anything in the MCU, because again, I thought he was the greatest thing that came out of Black Widow, so I'm very, very excited about it. So that to me is the number one piece of news. The number one thing they showed was probably the thing that we didn't see, which was the Black Panther footage. Now, we weren't in, like, when I say that, I mean, like, you and I were not in the presentation, so I didn't see it. The world hasn't seen it yet, but the people in the hall did. So my guess is that's right. The favorite thing that I saw, though, that I actually saw from Marvel was probably the Secret Invasion footage. I thought that looks really interesting. Big departure from the comic book story, but that's okay. My favorite thing that I think I saw overall was probably the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. That was probably my favorite thing that I saw. overall. That wasn't necessarily even just Marvel. All right. Let's see here. Al Renshaw writes, Marvel was a disappointment and no big surprises. Yeah, no, well, it's not just no big surprises, no surprises at all. David Harbour, surprise. David Harbour was surprised. I give it that. But you're right. Nothing, not at all like the last D23. And by the way, I don't mean to, when I keep saying that it wasn't like the last D23, I'm not saying that every D23 has to announce 7 brand new projects and like shake the world over and over again, but giving us something would have been interesting. All right. Next up, CJ Rebirth writes, John, the Disney/Pixar panel yesterday was amazing. Highlights were Snow White teaser, Little Mermaid clip, and Ariana DeBois singing a new Disney song. Yeah, this is the funny thing. The Disney live action animated thing panel yesterday was by far better than the Marvel and Star Wars presentation today. And who would have ever thought that? Now, granted, the news slipped that they were announcing Inside Out 2, but still, I think that's a fantastic announcement. That was really great. They literally just gave you more. I just thought that presentation, who would have ever thought that presentation, a week ago, if you were looking at the schedule of D23, and you say that presentation is going to be better than the Star Wars and Marvel one. I wouldn't have guessed that. But that one was pretty good. All right, Broco writes, hey, John and crew, cannot wait to hear about D23 with a smiley face on it. Yeah, well, I'm not the guy to give it to you, unfortunately, Broco. Irving writes, here's a theory. Wong is the Nick Fury of Phase 4. Well, I mean, I've kind of been saying that for a long time, that I think Wong is kind of becoming that connective tissue. And I love it because you can do a lot with Wong. He can be deadly serious. He can be really funny. He can be incredibly powerful and dangerous. He can be very lighthearted. Wong is a character that you can mold to fit whatever kind of character you want to put him across from. So he can be standing there and do this heavy scene with Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch, but then you can also put him in a scene with Madeline with 2 N's and a Y, calling him Wongers watching This Is Us. That's the type of character that Wong is. And so you can do a lot with him. And so, yeah, I've been saying for a while that I think he kind of makes sense, and he's been popping up all over the place. Like Kevin Feige said, it's the Wong cinematic universe now. All right. Jared Vesser writes, you mess with the mouse's cheese, John, you get the trap. You criticize Bob Chapek. These sorts of things will happen to you. Again, if I was not an absolute nobody, maybe I would believe that, but I don't even believe Bob Chapek knows what my name is, or that I'm remotely important enough that Bob Chapek would go, hey, he's been criticizing me on the YouTubes. No, I'm a fucking nobody. He doesn't care. All right, Casey Mack writes, I swear, John, that Werewolf by Night trailer gave me Grindhouse vibes. Yes, 1,000 times yes, Casey. In case you can't read it, let me highlight this one. In case you guys can't read it on the screen. 1,000 times yes. That's what I was trying to put my finger on. It does have Grindhouse vibes. That's not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. That may not be a bad thing. That could be a totally good thing. Could be a totally good, fine thing. Don't know for sure, but I think you're absolutely right about it, Casey. It totally gave me those vibes. Absolutely it did. All right. Where are we at here? Al Renshaw writes, Mando Season 3 trailer was better than anything Marvel told us or showed us. That trailer was great. It was great. Yeah, it was a great trailer. Again, just a trailer for the 3rd season of a show that we already know is coming, but it was absolutely a great trailer. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to watch it a few more times tonight, I think. Let's see. Floating Kites writes, Disney's new movies look bland, not excited at all. I mean, a couple of them look pretty interesting. I am very interested in this new, why am I freezing on the name of the Ariel Under the Sea movie? Little Mermaid. I'm like, why am I remembering all the songs in the movie and I'm freezing on the name of the movie? I'm intrigued by the new Little Mermaid. I'll tell you what, I thought the visual style looked pretty interesting. By the way, Gordon Serrato just gifted a John Campea membership out. Thank you, man. That's great. And Joshua Cohen just sent in a super chat badge just to be supportive. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that very much. So I thought Little Mermaid looked pretty interesting. I also think, I'm not going to lie, I think Disenchanted could be really cute. I like Enchanted. I know it doesn't seem like the kind of movie that I would dig, but I thought the twist where she kind of becomes the wicked stepmother, I think this could be actually pretty cute. I mean, we'll see. All right. Where are we at here? Release the breakdancing cut writes, I heard from my Marvel sources that Chris Rock is Cyclops. Hey, man, that's as valid as probably a lot of the other things you heard going around. I wouldn't doubt it. Chris Rock is Cyclops. Man, that would be something. I mean, maybe if it was directed by Taika Waititi, that's something they would do. Thanks for that Release the Breakdancing cut. Josh Becker writes, that Secret Invasion trailer got me hyped. I like the Secret Invasion trailer. Yeah. Again, if you had told people a long time, like a year ago, say, they're doing Secret Invasion, and here's the trailer, like, I think people might have looked at it and gone, that doesn't look anything like Secret Invasion. I mean, Skrulls are involved, but it doesn't really feel like Secret Invasion. True, but I think it looks really interesting. Samuel L. Jackson looks great in it. And that little exchange between him and Maria Hill, I thought was really cool too. So yeah, I like the look of that as well. Let's see here. Tucker Flynn writes, Werewolf by Night looks fun. Secret Invasion 2. Secret Invasion does. Werewolf by Night, again, a little bit of a Grindhouse feel, but that could work to its advantage very well. I'm going to be curious to see how that turns out, Tucker. Josh Becker writes, Hui Kwan, I never know if I'm pronouncing his name right. So you know me, I'm the worst at pronouncing names, so forgive me if I am. Joining Loki is amazing. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that put a smile on my face. Hearing about that did put a smile on my face. I got to agree with you on that one, Josh. Tucker Flynn writes, Mando was great too. Wish we got more Star Wars though. Dude, listen, I spilt my drink. Hold on a second. There was only a few drops left in it. Everyone in the Star Wars fandom is wondering what is going on with the Star Wars movies. I know I talked about this earlier, but it's so frustrating, I gotta say it again. The whole fandom is asking what is going on with the Star Wars movie world. What's going on? And this is D23. You got the world watching and listening. You have the Disney fandom. More importantly, you have the Star Wars fandom. All eyes and ears are on that stage. Everybody wants to know what's going on with things. And to not even broach the topic. To not even bring up, listen, I'm not asking for the world. I'm not asking for five film and release date announcements. Just a simple, you know what, guys? Star Wars was born on the big screen and ruled the big screen for generations. And we are keenly aware of that. And we are working hard at putting together a slate of films that is going to deliver the awe and wonder and magic of the original Star Wars series. And you guys know we're working very closely with filmmakers, blah, blah, blah. And while we do not have official release dates or projects to announce today, we want you to know that we are working very hard and we have exciting things coming on the horizon. Just something. Address it. Fucking address it. Respect your fans enough just to say, we hear everybody clamoring online like, what the hell is going on with the Star Wars movies? Let me address it just for a second. We can't give you any specifics right now. Like, that's all we needed. That's all. I just don't understand the whole, you know what? Let's just, shh. We don't talk about Bruno, no. We don't, shh. Let's not talk about it. Shh. Like Warner Brothers with Ezra Miller. Shh. Let's not talk about it. Maybe it'll go away. I mean, for fuck's sakes, you don't have to be a PR expert to understand that's all the fandom wanted to hear. Just tell us, hey, we have not forgotten about the movies. We are working on them. And we have things that we are very excited to reveal to you guys when we are ready to reveal them. But we got stuff coming. That's all you got to tell. That's all you got to say. I'm just kind of flabbergasted that they didn't do that. Sorry, can you tell that part upset me a little bit? Anyway, whatever. Okay. So thanks for that, Tucker. Release the Breakdancing Cut writes, people will believe anything. There was a post going around that someone heard from their sources that Denzel, Cavill, and John Boyega were going to be on stage at D23 and revealed his cast. And listen, for all we know, maybe Denzel Washington, Henry Cavill, and John Boyega will at some point be announced to be in it. Never know. But this is why, like, when these types of, like, people, listen, somebody actually asked me, John, why aren't you talking? I seriously had a couple people write in and ask me the other day at the John Campea Show, all right, why aren't you guys talking about the news that broke that Denzel and John Boyega and all are joining? Because these things come up every day. And when they don't come from legitimate sources like Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, what have you, I approach it with a great deal of skepticism. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool and interesting, and maybe it's true. But until we get some actual more information on that, I'm gonna file that one away. Sometimes we will talk about them if I think there's a possibility, like a greater chance that it has some more legitimacy. But for the most part, these rumors come up. Like, people say, John, why? Like, Gus's movie station, gas station reviews.fart says something ridiculous, and people are asking me, John, why are you talking about this on your show? Because 9 times out of 10, it's not real. And again, maybe that one will turn out to be something. Maybe it won't. We'll have to wait and see their release the Breakdancing Cut. All right, Daniel Rosales writes, tips in like $20. Thank you, Daniel, for that. I appreciate that, man. Hey, John, would you ever consider doing another meet and greet in the LA area? Thanks for everything you do. Yes, we are going to do another meet and greet in the LA area. We're probably going to do one before the end of the year. Maybe at another private movie screening that we're going to do. We might actually do a screening of my documentary, Movie Trailers, A Love Story, and do a fan screening of it, and we'll do a meet and greet at that. So, and we're hoping to do one before the end of the year. Keep your eyes open. Thanks for asking, man. Let's see. Okay, so I wouldn't answer my phone right now, but you see who it is that's calling, so I kind of have to answer. Hey, baby, I'm doing a live stream right now. Probably for about another 20 minutes, I think. Everybody in the live chat is saying hello, by the way. Yeah. Say that again. One more time.
Favorite place in the world.
Yeah, Anne's at Disneyland right now. She wants everybody to know she's at my favorite place in the world. So yeah, probably about another 20 minutes, baby.
Okay.
Is that okay? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll give you a call back when I'm done.
Okay, bye.
Love you, babe. Bye-bye. Okay, so sorry guys. When the boss calls, you answer the phone. You stop what you're doing and you answer the phone. Okay, that's my marriage advice for everybody, by the way. Okay. Let's see, where are we at here? Yes, we'll be doing a meet and greet. Timothy Webster writes, sorry to hear that you can't get into the hall to experience the Roger musical experience. Hope this will cover some of your expenses. Oh my God. Okay, I got a question. So Timothy Webster just sent in 788 Hong Kong dollars. I don't know what that is in American money. You know what? Now I got to look it up, because I don't know if he just gave me a quarter or if he gave me $1 million. I honestly, I don't know. So let me look this up here. What is 788 Hong HD to US dollars? Okay, let's see what this is. 788 is, oh my God. That's $100. That's $100. Dude, thank you. That's incredibly supportive and generous of you, dude. I'm like, now I feel bad that I was skeptical. I don't know if he just gave me a quarter or if he gave me like $10. He put in like $100 US. Timothy, thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate that very much. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah, man, like, thank you. Again, that money doesn't go to me, it goes to the company, and it does help make up the company for the money that we wasted this weekend. But thank you, Timothy, so much for that, man. That's awesome of you. Thank you, man. Wait, what did he just give me? 788. I didn't know if Hong Kong dollars were like worth rubles or whatever. So thank you, dude. That's incredibly nice of you, man. On behalf of everybody, thank you. Okay. Now, you guys heard on the phone that I got to call my wife back. So we're going to motor through the last bunch of them here. Johnny Got Lost writes, no surprises. Yeah, and saying it in my best Ray voice. That's this one right here. If I can actually, there it is. No surprises, as opposed to big surprises. Kevin Rubio, my buddy Kevin, writes, dude, next round's on me. Yeah, I need one. Even though I don't drink, I kind of need one, man. I kind of need one. All right, next up. Joshua Cohen writes, Campea 23 is better than D23. Love the hard work. Thanks so much. I said, I think I was in the live chat before we started the live stream because the live chat was open. So I jumped in the live chat before we started the stream. And I told everybody, are you ready for Campea 23? Where we announce absolutely nothing. Anyway, that was fun. Suthius writes, short round in Loki season 2. Yes, please. Can't wait. And dude, if you haven't seen him in Everything Everywhere All at Once, highly suggest that you do. Best movie of the year so far. And he's great in it. He's absolutely great in it. Our friend Irene Jobson writes, sorry Disney screwed you over, but we still love y'all. Oh, thank you so much for that, Irene. And yeah, I'm sorry Disney screwed me over too. But yeah, you know, is what it is. So thank you for that. I appreciate the encouragement, Irene. All right. Frederico Jordan writes, I was honestly a little disappointed with D23. Hey, man, listen, you're not alone. I think a lot of people, including myself, were pretty disappointed with D23. I mean, especially, there were some good things that happened outside of the Marvel Star Wars panel, but let's be honest, that's the marquee event. The Disney Star Wars panel or presentation, that was the one everybody's really looking forward to, and I think that's the one that dropped the ball, man. All right, Dr. Bright writes, sorry you had a bad day at D23, man. Me too. Especially since the last D23 I was at, I had a ball, dude. The last D23 I was at, I had a blast. And I was really looking forward to having that again. Dim Sum 05 writes, how about that Secret Invasion trailer? I'm stoked. I'll tell you what, it was good. It's good. It's got my attention for sure. Absolutely it does. Dylan Hockett just sends in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, Dylan. Mike's Movie Madness writes, D23, more like fail 23. Be honest, Gio. Would you be more mad if you had gotten into the panel and experienced the failure in person? I think I would have been more disappointed. I don't think I would have been more mad. Because if I'd gotten into the panel, I wouldn't have been angry. I wouldn't have been like, I got mad at what happened to me, unfortunately. I wouldn't have been mad had the panel presentation had disappointed. I probably would have been more disappointed if I had been in there in person. But more mad? No, not more mad. Fair question, though, Mike's Movie Madness. Okay, I'm not going to be able to read this name right, but I'm going to do my best. Sarvashaj sends in just a super chat badge with a smiley face to be supportive. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Trevor writes, and tips in like $20. Thank you, Trevor writes. Always love your content. Sorry about the Disney BS. Best movie TV YouTuber out there. Bring on the filthy. Oh, thank you so much, Trevor. It's always really, really nice and humbling when somebody just wants to write in and be supportive just to say something nice. So thanks, dude. That means a lot, and I really do appreciate that, Trevor. Moda Awesome writes, is D23 an annual event? I don't think so. I think it's every couple of years. Next year is 100, so maybe they're saving bombs for then. You don't wait a year. Like, I understood with cinema, or not CinemaCon, with Comic-Con, you're waiting to drop the big announcements at your event, at D23. I got that because it was only like a month and a half away or something like that, right? You don't wait a year to drop major announcements because, listen, you still put on this event. People still came to this event. The eyes and the ears of the entertainment world were focused on this event. You gotta make it worth it. But it is what it is. All right, thanks for writing that in, Mode Awesome. Daniel Vasquez writes, unpopular opinion. The post-credit scene in episode 3 of She-Hulk is worse than Morbius' post-credit scene. At least Morb didn't twerk like he meant it. I gotta tell you, Daniel, all due respect, like, if that's how you felt about it, that's cool. Entertainment hits us all in different ways. And if it hit you in a certain way that it really left you feeling like you really didn't enjoy it, totally respect that. But to me, that twerking scene was fucking hilarious and perfectly in line with the tone of She-Hulk if you know the comics at all. It's totally in tone with She-Hulk. It was wonderful. And I'll never understand people who like, watch the Guardians of the Galaxy dance off and think, that's great. Oh, but She-Hulk twerking scene, that's bad. Or seeing Captain America making a joke about looking at his own ass and going, that is America's ass. And everybody thought that was hilarious, including me. Everybody thought that's hilarious. But She-Hulk, a female lawyer, meeting one of her musical superstars and twerk and dance, that, I don't know, whatever. But listen, humor is all subjective. Like, what's funny to one person is not funny to another. And if it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you, and that's totally cool. But me, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought it was really, really funny, to be honest with you. All right. Next up, Anthony C. writes, wouldn't be surprised if you decide to never go again. Oh, no, I'll tell you right now. I'll even bring up the full screen camera to get this thing. I will never go to D23 again. Period. I'm never going to D23 again. We were planning on booking flights. We talked about this. You heard us talk about this. We were planning that we were going to take the crew and we were going to go to London next year to go to Star Wars Celebration. Fuck that. No way. I will never go to D23 again. Everybody thought I was lying when I said I'm never going back to Disneyland. Everybody said, yeah, you're bulling. You'll be back there. And I have not gone back. Listen, I'm Italian, man. You screw an Italian out of money, they hold a grudge. we Italians will hold a grudge when it comes to you screwing us out of money. And when Disneyland screwed me out of money, I was like, they're dead to me. Disneyland is dead to me, and I have not gone back. I can't even remember how long ago that was. It was over a year ago, I believe. Anyway, I have not gone back to Disneyland since, despite the fact that I've been a season pass holder for like 7 or 8 years in a row. I have never gone back. I will tell you right now, I will never again go to Star Wars Celebration, and I will never again go to D23. I'm not saying we won't talk about them or cover them or anything like that. Like, of course we will. But, fuck me over once, shame on everybody. It's just, no, I'll never go again. This is my last D23 that I'll ever be to. Absolutely the last D23 I will ever come to. I will be more than happy to follow people who are on Twitter and tweeting about the next D23, and we will talk about any big stories that come out of D23 in future. Of course we will. But my days of attending Disney live action events, Disney live events like this, done. I'll never be back. And I would encourage people never to go. But I'm not going to be one of these people who go, I'm going to organize a boycott. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I'll never be back. And I'm sure Disney is crying themselves to sleep that, oh no, fucking nobody Campea is not coming back to D23. Yeah, I'm sure they're totally shaking in their boots. But but for me personally, you fuck me out of money. I hold a grudge. I totally hold a grudge. So D23 and Star Wars Celebration is going to be sans John Campea moving forward. So yeah, there's not that anybody at Disney cares. Of course they don't care. But yeah, this will be the last one of this I will ever be to. All right. Let's keep going here. Next up, where are we at here? That was okay. Kevin Cow writes, hello from my Hawaiian vacation, dude. I'm totally jealous. Hope you at least had a good time walking around. The news coming out isn't exciting to me. The trailers are. I'll tell you what, I didn't even go into the convention center. I didn't even go in. Ann and I hung out. We got together with a couple of friends, relaxed a little bit. I made the best of it that I could, but I was so upset by the experience. I didn't even go into the convention. I didn't even go in. Because I was mad, man. I was upset. I was kind of pissed off. So you know what? I made the most of it that I could. All right. Let's see here. Harry Talks Movies /TV writes, it's fair to us. Let me try this again. It's fair for us to upset based on last D23. Yeah, I agree. I don't think, let me rephrase that, Harry. I don't think it's fair to us to be upset that they didn't make any significant announcements of this thing. But I think it's fair to be completely disappointed. And maybe even you'd have a right to be upset if you spent a lot of money because you saw what happened at the last D23 and you're like, I want to be there for that in person. Because that last D23, man, blew the doors off. And maybe this one won't be quite as good as that one, but that type of thing, I want to be there in person. I want to say I was there in the room where it happened. I want to be there in the room for that kind of an event. And if you were somebody like that and you like flew in from London and like that, and then you just sat in that panel, that dud of a panel, and went, I came out for this, maybe you could have the right to be upset. And then we end off with Darren Farthing, Esteban Reyes, and again, Hartford, who all sent in super chat badges. Of course, Hartford sent in that $50 one. Esteban sent in $5. Darren sent in 10 just to be supportive. And guys, that'll do it for this little freaking self-therapy kind of wrap up to my non-D23 experience. Again, I don't want to paint the picture to make it sound as like everything that they did at D23 and the Marvel Star Wars presentation was pointless and useless. It wasn't. There were some shining moments in there. The Secret Invasion trailer, again, something they could have just dropped online. The Mandalorian season 3, again, a project we already knew about. Third season of TV show we're already watching. We knew this was coming, and they could have just dropped that online. But those were good. The David Harbour announcement to me is my favorite thing. Tim Blake Nelson coming back as leader is interesting. I like that. So a couple of interesting things. It wasn't like it was all bad, but I just feel like overall it was pretty disappointing, especially when you hold it up to the light of the last D23. Just something. The fact that there wasn't a single new project announced, not a single one. Like at D23, at your marquee event, not a single one. And you can't tell me they didn't have something they could have announced. And again, there are people who are doing like these stupid straw man arguments, trying to make it sound like I'm saying, oh, you should have given us everything. You should have told us everything. No. You didn't announce anything. And to me, that's them dropping the ball. But anyway, that will do it for now, guys. I will, of course, will be back for the John Campea Show on Monday. I hope you guys will come back and join me, Rob and Chris and Ray and Jonathan and Taylor will be in there somewhere. So I hope you guys will come and join us. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, talking with me here on the show, and joining me for a little bit of your day on this Saturday. I know you guys had other things you could have done. The fact that you decided to hang out with me and the rest of everybody else is pretty cool. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it a lot. Okay, guys, that will do it for me. Thanks a lot for being here. Come on back again on Monday. My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.